But the funny thing is, Roger, I'm not even going to read it. You know, I'm not going to read it. Just the very fact that Floyd Green could be given a green light because he's a minister of government.
He's also an attorney at law.
Attorney at law, right? The young man that was under the bed that Steve McGregor found, why was he charged? Pastor Peter Chambers, who spoke against the Prime Minister and gave a prophecy, why did gunmen came for him? The other young man who could tell the Prime Minister go do whatsoever in a no movement zone.
Maybe Pastor Chambers was inciting a kind of violence.
Yeah, but my point is, on a no movement day, the Minister of Government, who is the Minister of Agriculture then, and we have a serious food short, we have a serious crisis with food management and food shortage.
That had nothing to do with
but he was there chanting and gavelvanting and talking about no movement, no movement. They all should have been charged.
As far as I'm concerned, as a minister, he gets exemption for being out.
Yeah, but what about who were there?
In that room, many of the people in that room also had exemption.
But I'm going to say to you, the Foreign Secretary for Health in England, the Secretary for Health, Public Health, had a free time gallivanting in one of his concubines. The media took it up, and he's no longer the Foreign Secretary for Health. So how is it then? Every Jamaican must sit down. Right? Yeah. Sit down. Stay in a house like cat and mouse and rabbit. And Floyd Green, Andrew Ballenme, Chow, Gabriel Hilton, Richie Hamilton, and the other cronies who are there, all loyalists to Andrew Holness. They are all minions to Andrew Holness. This is the kind of Jamaica we're talking about. A Jamaica for the rich and a Jamaica for the poor. Paula Llewellyn, is there any truth that one of the reasons why you cannot give sound judgment? Is it any truth that you undermine your former boss? And it's the same thing I reach you now.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we've never had any problem with her credibility.
Oh, where? Everything Paula Llewellyn talk about. Most, look upon the Vibes Cartel case. Look upon the case right now with the name? The case, Roger.
Prosecution faced a very hard task, you know, given the Jamaican culture as it relates to
Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson is also, you know.
When it comes down to the prosecution side of things, they're under-resourced.
Yeah, under-resourced. So you're saying, so because Paula Llewellyn is under-resourced, she could not charge Floyd Green?
This is not the particular case. I'm saying where you may speak to her inefficiency. I'm saying
her inefficiency is because you know them say karma. You know them say karma is a, you know what? And it is said in the legal world that one of the reasons why Paula Llewellyn is doing so poorly is
absolutely not poorly.
Oh well,
and to the
in the legal world,
to the extent that she was given an extension of contract.
Yeah, because it speaks to the ability to keep Bro God in power.
Absolutely not. It's about hard work and
what hard work? Paula Llewellyn is a sad excuse for a DPP. A sad excuse. How you fi charge man we dead? How she fi charge man we dead? How she fi charge Kevin Smith we dead? She is an inept public defender.
As she rightly pointed out, the case hinges on a video that may have been manipulated.
So question. The young man where Steve McGregor did fine.
I support.
This young man that Steve McGregor did fine. His video never get that time manipulated.
He uploaded it himself.
Yeah. So who uploaded it? The same labor right them put it in a them WhatsApp group.
We are unsure.
Me can tell you this.
We are unsure.
Me can tell you this for a fact. And the same labor right them put a video in them WhatsApp group.
We are unsure of that. And until then,
me can't say it. Make them come sue me this morning.
You know what?
Make them come sue me. The labor right them put it out.
They can pursue.
And I can tell you,
if new evidence arises, they can pursue it.
So Paula Llewellyn, hear the new evidence.
Well done, man.
Hear the new evidence. Hear the new evidence.
Let's move on.
Hear the new evidence, Roger.
Yes.
Here's the new evidence. Andre Stephens, got the video from a member of the Labour Party. If she wants to know who to give it to, she call me.
Or you should have done the right thing as a citizen of this country and make the relevant reports. You did not.
No, I don't need to make the report because this is the system. The system is from uptown and downtown. And Roger, you know, I'm going to say this. It is a very vulgar slap in the face of every ordinary Jamaican who observe. You know the truth is...
Jamaicans don't observe.
Nobody never observe my granny observe it. Your mother observe it. Your mother observe the curfew. Most of us Jamaicans observe the curfew. The few unruly ones is because them can't get no food for them and them have to hustle. So the dance and the informal sector is their way of life. Floyd Greed will keep him concubine. It is alleged his concubine Gabrielle Hilton birthday party. It is wrong. They could have kept it.
Absolutely no truth to that. She is an employer.
It is alleged that she's his concubine.
Right. There are many allegations all around. You would have suffered your own allegations.
Yeah,
so
man.
Let us not do that. Because if we don't have proof, let's not make...
Me just say allegations. A years she and Floyd Greed mushy and tighty.
Friendship is...
So I'm going to ask it. And then now the bro God got to take him up. Put him in the kitchen cabinet up at Jamaica House. All of the send out boy them. Him, I send out boy number 1. Send out boy number 2. Yes, number 2 is Nestor Morgan. And send out boy number 3 is Matthew Samuda. All send out boys.
All of those seem to have been ministers, junior ministers.
Who have been inadequate.
Who have
delivered what? What have they delivered?
Very visible.
Visible without substance. Visible without what kind of substance? So you tell me what kind of substance Nestor Morgan bring out the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. You tell me what kind of substance Matthew Samuda bring to the Ministry of National Security when we in the last 2 years, 2 terms, the amount of murders that has committed, you don't think Afghan and Boko Haram with them. You tell me what Floyd Greed do for Ministry of Agriculture, apart from media campaign, nobody knew face of agriculture, and talk about no movement. You show me, and them 5 things good with them do, Roger.
It's right there. You just
where?
The relevant
no, research. I want you to tell Jamaica the 5 things. I know if I have to go dig it up. All right.
Well, we know the nature of government and how government communication works. Political communication is only excellent during politics.
But I'm going to ask you this, Roger. Roger.
So it is what it is. We have to.
I'm going to ask you this. Out of all Andre Stephens has been doing for the few weeks and months, which minister of government has ever fed a homeless person? I call a very powerful minister of government this weekend, and I asked him, you have the scoffers to spend the government resources. Can you donate 2 bags of chicken? And you know what the response was? I don't know you and I don't trust you, so I can't. Here's what. People hungry. And you have the privilege of giving monies to Jamaica. Just to sponsor, you tell me, say, I saw the relationship bad with the government and the commerce industry, that him couldn't call down a best dress or CB and say, can you drop 2 bags of chicken at Premier Kitchen?
I think they're more interested from a policy point of view.
What policy point of view?
Infrastructure point of view. I think they're more working along this whole issue of providing homes and...
homes for $27 million?
So they're more working at that.
Homes for $27 million. There is actually 1,600 homeless people in Kingston.
And probably that's just
captured.
Maybe more out there.
That is just Kingston alone. Remember, 7 reach a Montego Bay. So, Roger, if I am feeding these people and I ask for some support.
We support the idea that you're doing, by the way.
Yeah, and
it's beautiful.
I'm going to say to you, thanks for always, giving me that kind of motivation when I'm down. And when me did really lack where, you have been there for me, Roger. Keep being the mentor you are to me. But the truth is, Roger, when we look on the roads, yesterday, I never had a lot of money to cook for them. So what I had to do, the little 10,000 more I had to buy 2 cases of the golden crackers, the birdie crackers, and give them water and a juice. Yeah. I couldn't cook real food because chicken has moved from $270 per pound to $330 to $350 per pound.
That is a travesty.
That is a travesty, Roger. And what we find now is food security is a major thing. And what I am saying to Andrew Holness, are we teaching our Jamaicans to eat more callaloo, okras, pap choys? Are we teaching them how to take a lot of chickens from their...
But pak choy is not cheap.
Yeah, but if they grow it themselves, eat what we grow. And that is why I respect Bruce Golding, Because, like him, he was a visionary. What I think that Bruce Golding has spoken so eruditely and eloquent about is the need for championing food security. Food security crisis has been around from the years of 2007. And we're now in the year 2022, Roger. And we're not planting enough yams to supply our people. We're not planting enough sweet potatoes. And sweet potatoes are good antioxidant.
Well, right now, what we have is the high cost of land. So we can't even expect people to do anything.
Yeah, but what I am saying is land reform that Peter Phillips spoke about under the LAMP program. You see why I'm saying Jamaica needs a new Jamaica? Because Peter Phillips has done so many good conversations and policy directives. But because he's on the other side of the aisle, come on, Jamaica. Roger, you are there and you have disagreements and I have disagreements. And many times we don't see eye to eye. But what we do agree is that we need a better Jamaica. And if we need a better Jamaica, and Peter Phillips is saying, let us reform lands and give back lands to the Jamaican people. Michelle Charles, it is alleged I take with the people them land at St. Thomas. It wrong.
As he said, alleged.
It is alleged. But may I say this to you. A lot of these politicians do not give people the land. They lease it to them, and then when time come on, Roger, the people them Jamaica deserve.
I agree with you.
What, Jesus, what a thing.
I do agree that it's a problem.
It's a problem with land reform. And land.
It's up to every citizen to make that kind of agitation to government. That as citizens of a country, we have to fight so hard to get access to land. It's sad.
It's wrong.
How
and then you know the funny thing.
How can you be born in a country and you're landless?
And you know the funny thing.
And there's swathes of state land that politicians are gifting out to people.
I'm going to say to you, the state lands of the Maroons, that is alleged that Bangale developers want to do, is Chinese interest. It's Chinese interest. And when Digicel can call me to tell me move out of a location.
Well, we're not going to use you.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying when a telecoms communications group can see that times are hard and difficult. A man's restaurant has moved from 200,000 to 50,000 per day. He's asked to pay 3,300 US plus 250,000 for maintenance plus utilities. That's near $1 million each month. In COVID, there's no traffic in the space, and what I am saying,
you'll exist on a prime real estate.
Yeah, but the real estate is not carrying in any capital, Ricardo. So if it is carrying in no capital, the conversation with you and your landlord or the leaser and the leasee should be: let us find creative ways to keep the things going.
A significant point. The government has not given anything, Ricardo. Welcome. Has not given away much in terms of COVID
grants.
No, for example, those $10,000 is an insult to people. Because
once per year.
I felt what they should have done is to pump more money into, like, for example, food for the poor, so that people could
get food.
Could actually
so
go
Rich
to get food.
Like me, let me just be glad you said that, Roger.
Instead of giving people $10,000,
give them the food, give them the kind.
Pump that money into food for the poor who could bring in bulk food, and people will
the rice and the cereal and then cornmeal and
their canned food. Do that. That's one option that the government could have done if it really meant to help people. Because $10,000 to feed you one half is an insult, right? But also, the government did not do enough in regulating people, in the sense that they didn't do enough of encouraging banks to hold off on extenuating loans. So the bank had relationships with clients, and the banks responded. Some clients, based on relationship with banks, were given a...
But I'm glad you talk about the bank.
But the government weren't active as advocates. The other issue was that kind of arrangement was not given to landlords to say, landlords, we are going to forgive you certain taxes, certain issues. That the government was silent on that kind of advocacy.
But right? I'm glad you mentioned that point.
Also, the government did not roll back taxes, yet still people were unemployed.
And banking fees. Which taxes them roll back? GCC about 1.5%. What is that, Ricardo? Don't come with this foolishness. I'm not going to accept the foolishness this morning. But you see on the banking point, Roger.
During COVID,
on the banking point.
Why did you not slash
the bank charges?
No, the government needs revenue.
Oh.
And where the revenue
so we don't need revenue.
Revenue is going to Bobby Montague. But the revenue is going to Bobby Montague and his friend and the Alibaba and the 40 thieves.
The point I'm making is, if the country maintains it need to earn, then how how will the people survive if their jobs are lessening? Just as how the people had to contract during COVID, the government should have contracted.
The employment report that came out, I think 2 weeks ago by Statine, was pretty good.
Good to say what? For wait a second.
No.
Let him speak.
Because
I'm going to fix the business this morning, you know.
No, this is the problem with you, Andre. You try to paint us Jamaica as this doom country.
Of course, the country is in a gloom and doom.
No.
Under Andrew Holness, we're in a pharaoh system. We're in a pharaoh system, Ricardo. So don't tell me that there's no doom and gloom. You sound like you're on the payroll of the Labour Party.
Yes, I think his mic is good.
Yes. Okay, my mic is good.
Yes.
So what I was saying that there's Statine put out a very good job report the other day. One, our unemployment level is lower than it was pre-pandemic. Our youth unemployment is extremely low. Our export is going up now. So there are some good metrics there that we can use that our country is heading in the right direction. I admit that there's some aspect that we need.
Some are many aspects.
Are many aspects. But I'm just saying that I refuse to buy this narrative that you're pushing, that our country is in this doom heading for a senseless direction.
Can I rebut that, Roger?
All I'm saying to you, sir, is, and my argument remains strong, the government did not advocate in the way that it ought to during the start of the COVID period for people who were its nationalists. You come here. Put them in government.
Roger, can I ask you this question?
Yes.
How is it the Chinese have so much interest that it now has the war? The Chinese has
money and Jamaica doesn't.
Yeah, we don't have it.
It's clear.
But
the
then,
US is not giving us
what Matthew Samuda said on Twitter, what Matthew said on
the UK only want to give us
prison money.
So we go to China.
So I'm going to say this to you. Matthew Samuda said, the only way, let me paraphrase him on Twitter this weekend. The only way we can fix the banking charges is having more banks to increase competition. So until we have 20 banks, which is more competition.
That's a point.
It's a point.
But I think you could regulate banks.
But they need to regulate the banks. Yeah. Because when I say, Ricardo, you said the unemployment rate is lower than pre-pandemic. Ricardo, when I go downtown, the amount of people that I see who are homeless, Roger, who are brilliant people, because they cannot afford rent. I have a chef in my kitchen this morning who lives nowhere. You understand, Roger? But no, I'm no. You said, Roger, didn't he say that the unemployment rate is lower now? But it's not a reality of ordinary Jamaicans who are hungry, homeless, destitute, and impoverished. You know the realities of Jamaicans.
Of course I know that.
You see,
come on, Ricardo, if you stop talk them nonsense and stop talking labor right.
That's a beautiful thing.
Stats a beautiful thing, but it can't translate to humanity.
When Standard and Poor, when people, hold on, Ricardo. When countries like Standard and Poor, when rubrics are polls
derived,
like Standard and Poor and those countries,
when Bill Gates,
Jamaica is now a middle-income country, right? And as a result of being a middle-income country, you can take away certain benefits that
such as
grants that countries would have had, right? Remove subsidies for HIV and AIDS. Majority of that funding now is coming from the tourism enhancement fund. The point I'm making is when those type of rubrics exist, they are not always truthful, because Jamaica, as a middle-income country, right, is saying that Jamaica isn't a poor country.
And so have a two-tin mackerel.
I don't know how when you go through. I don't know how when you look in schools.
There's no tablets. There's no internet. We have pit latrine.
The rubrics that talk to middle income is not existing in any of our indicators nationally. So how we middle income and yet still we have poor information system, poor
infrastructure, pit latrine, school system. No, it's not talking. It's what you misinterpret statistics. Every time you carry full statistics.
I am not
Ricardo, I'm just trying to say to you that statistics sometimes are very misleading. Because when you look at the reality,
personal experience sometimes are very misleading. You cannot go down and say that those people are indicative of everything that's going on.
But it's a part of the sample. It's a part of the population. Probabilities. You speak about survey. You speak about research.
There's an unemployment there's an unemployment percentage in Jamaica. So obviously people are unemployed and people are looking.
How are this, Ricardo?
But I'm just saying,
So,
based on the
Ricardo,
data that we have here, the unemployment level currently is lower than it was.
Let me tell you
pre-pandemic.
something. I hear you. But let me tell you something.
Pre-pandemic, so how much are the unemployment rate now?
So, okay. So Ricardo.
7.7%.
Based on what
Hallelujah.
all statistics say, right? Crime and violence is
Thank
linked
you.
to unemployment.
Thank you.
Based on statistics, crime and violence is linked to unemployment.
True.
Unemployment is going up, and everything is pointing positive, correct? So why is crime going negative?
Thank you. You
Why?
get licking at the corner.
No, that's an easy
You get
point.
licking at the corner.
It's an easy response.
Easy response.
Can I?
Yes,
please.
well, wait for the response because
No,
I'm going down here this morning.
The idea is there is a correlation and not a causation.
Okay, correlation.
Correlation, not a
between
causation.
crime and violence.
Oh.
So when
Correlation.
we're analyzing and contextualizing crime and violence, we are not looking at one factor, one variable. There's a multiplicity of variables
Well,
here
Jamaica
that we
don't
have to
believe that
incorporate.
because arguments
one,
point to the fact that unemployment is a huge
Deterrent.
that's true.
contributor to
That
crime.
is true, but it's not the only contributor to crime. There are many factors.
But then we should
there are
be,
many
but at
systemic
least we should be
issues
seeing
here.
some lessening.
Lessening, right?
If it is an indicator
If it is.
and it is improving.
Oh, we
we
have
should see
120
some
odd murders for 1 month.
slight improvement.
Oh, we have near 120 murders for 1 month.
In other words, absolutely.
Me come back, Ricardo.
We go
Yeah,
against
there's a
statistics.
comfort. Done.
Hold on. Again, we go against statistics because clearly, if you're having improvement in jobs, you would have had improvement in crime based on what people would have said before, based on statistics, right?
But we can.
We are
but I'm
rubbishing
not,
the kind of
this-
statistics
wait,
that
wait.
talks about people with there's improvement in Jamaica. Because the fact of the matter is, all of us can feel it in our pockets.
But this is kind of.
You not
It's
feel,
impossible.
you not feel the
For
price.
improvements to be happening and it's not felt.
This is kind.
It's
This is
impossible.
kind of a. What
You-
I
the money-
wait, this is
May I
kind of
ask
a
you one
tangential
question,
argument.
Ricardo?
One.
One
We
que-
don't know.
Can
what
I
the
ask you
crime
one
rate
question?
Would have been if the
We're going to discuss
unemployment-
crime full sum.
Yes. But
So I'm going to ask you one question, Matter. I'm just beg you one question. Yeah. Ricardo, when you go to the supermarkets these days, there's no increase in minimum wage, Roger. And a mother has 3 or 4 children to take care of. School is now back in session. She has to send all of them to school. And her minimum, her salary is 10,000 for the week. Benefit of the doubt. She has to go to either the supermarket or the wholesale. Right? And the truth is, she can only get 1 bag because she only can buy 2 pounds of chicken now. Right? I'm saying, Ricardo, how is it that you said the crime rate is down, the unemployment, not the crime rate, the unemployment rate is down.
Are you
but
saying
yet
the crime
still,
rate, unemployment rate is not down?
unemployment to me, what is
I'm not
what is
saying that.
employment?
I'm just
What is
questioning the
employment? Is it persistent employment or convenient employment? Because
doesn't matter. People are
it's
getting an income. That's
income,
what
that
you care
is
about,
what?
right? If
Hand to mouth, Ricardo, hand to mouth income. Hand to mouth
it's better
income.
than nothing.
or even spread.
That is what Holness must know. So the monies when get from the IMF, the World Bank, are for the poor people them in this country. We deserve them grant funding and the businesses we deserve someone. Some bailout. Right off some right law say every business in the past 2 years we have problem. Write it off, tax write off from government. One can't do that. As that him what him talk about him a brogan from poverty to prosperity. Show Jamaicans say him mean well and the house where him build.
No,
Every
it has-
Jamaican want big house.
Wait.
Every Jamaican want big house. That's my dream. Your dream,
His
Raja.
house is
Everybody
the
want
biggest
big house. Everybody in Jamaica deserve big house.
this is
And not even
why-
the Chinese
this is-
alone. Rude. But done with you this morning.
Andre,
Ricardo.
you're too emotional for me sometimes.
Yes, Raja.
The issue of housing, there's a housing war in Kingston.
With the 6 people them under investigation.
Developers are using strong arm tactics to coerce homeowners to sell.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
One upmanship and badmanism.
So Kingston is becoming a prime real estate.
A
for
prime real
high-rise
estate.
building.
High-rise building.
And to the extent that people are not selling how developers want them to sell, there are even allegations that some of them have been using scammers, gang-related affiliates to terrorize people into selling.
It is sad though. You know what is sad?
Again, it's an accusation that has been.
We just say it's in the newspaper. It's all over. And then there are six developers. There are six developers whose names are being investigated by the police. And what I am saying, I'm not going to call the developer name, but what I am saying is, developers, you cannot all have high-rising buildings. Kingston cannot have that level because Roger, how can the tri-circle of Barbican, Mona, and all of those areas that have the highest stream of income be turning Airbnbs? Brother, a lot of the people who are in these homes are old retirees, who are former teachers, policemen, soldiers. Come on, Ricardo. It's a sad thing that beside them is not you. I'm just talking overall, bro. Beside them, Roger, the people them want them look at gardening, and beside them, 6-story, 8-story. No, man.
I'm not saying that there isn't. I'm not saying that we shouldn't contemplate, but when we're looking at this, why didn't we develop a high-rise district?
High-rise district up at Red Hills, Upper Beverly. You understand?
Right.
We're at the high-rise district, but you know what I'm going to say cause this? You know what is causing this?
Random buildings.
You know what is going to causing this? It is alleged that the town clerk and the mayor of Kingston, it is alleged that the town clerk, Robert, whatsoever his name, Hill, and the mayor of Kingston goes to the highest bidder.
You know, Andre, I'm not going to go along that.
It needs to stop. If I saw it to go, it needs to stop, Ricardo. Because not because you're mayor. It means if you come take up soft monies. It wrong, man.
Hold on, you made your point.
It wrong.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying nay or yay. But I'm saying something. French is rank.
It stink. It stink.
It cannot be that it's normal and ordinary. Some of these buildings don't even look like the past regulations. In fact, there's enough query about whether or not some of these buildings are fit
to pass.
And yet still they would have gone through the necessary procedures within the KSAC.
The problem, Mr. Ben,
there is a question mark as it relates to. I'm not going as far as Andre, but there's a question mark as it relates to the efficacy of the people who are working in some of these areas.
But the problem that we run into is there is a high demand for houses in Kingston. Nobody wants to live in the country areas anymore. Everybody
incentivize it. Make it happen.
How?
Create better roads. Make sure you have better facilities so that driving in is easier.
I don't think that's the problem.
Make housing more affordable out of town.
It's the same problem we observe in America too. Everybody wants to live in California. So there's an issue there. There's a house becomes extremely expensive now because the demand for house increases drastically, and therefore
it's primary real estate. I understand why prices will go up.
But Roger,
it doesn't excuse business.
There is another
criminal tactics.
No, I am not.
Can I ask another question?
I am not.
Can I ask another question, Roger? Well, I'm going to ask two solid questions. The developers that are developing these buildings and high-rising buildings, are they Jamaican nationals?
We don't know that.
And
I don't even know.
No, it does matter. It does matter. Because Jamaican nationals deserve to build on their own land. Second to that, a lot of these developers that are developing, when you pass them, there's one that first rock that is building round this so. Round this so. I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to say, why is it we have so many Jamaicans who are unemployed and a Chinese man up on the building?
Well, that was one of the concerns that were...
Enough Chinese man up on the building. And you are going to take Ricardo. No, I'm saying, me not a problem if Chinese are work on the building, you know. But if 20 Chinese are there, 40 Jamaicans deserve to be there. There must be a quota and a ratio. So if it is, Roger,
that's fair.
That may have 10 Chinese on my property. We must have 40 Chinese to make the 40 Jamaicans to make the 50 laborers them. And the Chinese, and I'm going to say to you, the Chinese, Ricardo, should not be paid any other special remuneration just because of coming here.
Chinese are the contractors.
Well,
why the Chinese deserve to be contractors? Iran! And the Chinese don't respect environment. The Chinese have never respected the environment. They have never respected. If they can go as far as build an artificial sun, what will they do when them get Maroon Town? We must talk about that, Ricardo. We must talk about the Chinese interest in Maroon Town. It's wrong. It's wrong. And Roger made a point. Where are the districts? Where are the districts?
One of the sad realities.
To focus on the issues at hand.
One of the sad realities is
the coercion, the trauma that homeowners are facing, especially our retirees, who at this point in their lives require some peace of mind. They are now being harassed and being made to live this kind of way. Having given omen service to our country, we should then in turn treat them well. We shouldn't be harassing them.
True. One of the sad realities.
True, Roger.
And then what is going to be done about this kind of in the investigative piece that was done by TVJ? Nobody could stop it. Nobody said that, oh, it's just reports. Oh, but that's not how things are done. In other words, these developers have leeway to constantly.
Sad. It's sad.
We're always having. We can't find loophole for good, but there's always a loophole for bad.
Always. And that is why I'm saying, in this country, we legitimize wrong and make it right. And what is right is seen as wrong.
Government, these are things you advocate for your citizens.
Your citizens must have peace of mind in them house.
There's proof that some of these people have made complaints
Done.
to the KCC.
And the KCC don't listen. Because me I tell you, say Robert Hill, the people are saying that you and the mayor named Feder, any kind of money that these developers give you, it is alleged that the new houses and cars that the mayor have since he's mayor is because of the developers. If I saw it go, Ricardo, if I saw it going wrong, and if it is that I am wrong, I will come publicly and apologize. But we need to know, Roger. We need to know. Why is it that so many developments are happening in Kingston, in this Mona area?
The development started before the JLP was in power.
Yes. So you said that means that Angela Brownberg and the next town clerk did I do it too?
You need to question her.
Yeah, me gonna question Angela Brownberg this morning. If she did make billions out of it, and the same town clerk remain Robert Hill, why did she make Robert Hill and get rid of Green as town clerk? Because it is said that Robert Hill, it is alleged, based on the information that I have received, Robert Hill is a businessman. Robert Hill, it said, accuse other people and make people like Joey James have to leave him job down KCC and mash up Joey James' career. Did you do that, Robert Hill? Robert Hill, you know said the procurement procedures. I have breached the procurement procedures, and it is said that you give people leeway. And you think that town clerk that easy? It is a sad excuse of corruption. And I'm not going to sit anymore and see these corrupt acts sitting down, Roger, and people can't get them house to live peacefully. Suppose my grandmother did in a Kingston, and my grandmother want to wash out my clothes them. When she look up and look down,
it is a trauma.
It is awful and it is wrong. People deserve them. People did 60 years over foreign, 40 years over foreign, and them come home peacefully. Give the people damn well what them deserve, Roger. That is peace of mind and tranquility.
I hear you, sir. And I think he embodies and he echoes this frustration that a lot of people are feeling about this kind of high-handedness. The government needs to get it right. Urban planning is important. You have tons of urban planners in the ministry. But among NEPA, you have tons of them. What are their jobs?
UDC have them enough.
But there's been a constant push to develop Montego Bay and Falmouth because of the increase.
But then you need to develop town in a
civil way. It can't look so chaka.
Once there is this demand for house and there's increased demand for house in Kingston, there's always going to be this aggressive push by developers to kind of
But we have on one hand we have the aggressive push by developers. On the other hand we have regulation by government to say as much as you're going to push, you can't. This is where you have to go. Is New Kingston going to be that area where we have a high-rise residential district? maybe it's part of Mona, where we're going to have a high-rise residential district. And then the government should begin to figure out who it negotiates with to start relocating people. If it needs be. But the government has to be more intentional. You can't leave urban planning up to the profiteer, for profiteers to decide. People who are going to make tons of money from this don't care one bit about the environment and don't care one bit about sustainability. In fact, when they make their tons of millions, they can migrate to far better environments to live. We will suffer the consequence of it.
But one of the problems about construction is that we, as a local company and local contractors, cannot compete with international.
So we need to get them to the point where they can compete, Roger.
But
the regulation is important and giving them the resources.
The way in which international companies develop, we cannot develop at that pace.
Listen, we have to end this conversation. We'll continue with more. This is Fresh Start. All news content here from a fresh perspective. What a discussion in the morning. We'll be right
What
back.
a banger on Jamaica.
Ricardo Allen. We have Andre, the partner boss, Stephens.
Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost, Holy Ghost.
Partner boss. And you have tea talk this month.
You know, Jamaica, I'm going to set a Tetley tea. Tetley tea, Caribbean Dreams, Nestle Jamaica. Fresh Start is deserving of tea.
We do deserve tea.
Roger, I am the boss for the partner draw. And I need somebody to give a hand of tea to the show.
Agreed.
I deserve to be walking with my cup of tea every morning, right, Ricardo? Yeah. We must deserve and we must spill the tea. The tea hot, the tea hot, the tea hot, the tea hot. Anyhow, Jamaica.
Yes.
You know what I've always said to people? Undermining is a great deception. Undermining is a great deception. Roger Bent.
Yes.
I did something to you some days ago, some months ago, and I never understood it. And then it's when you gave me the story, you said to me, Andre, that was undermining. You remember what I did? And you said to me, that is undermining, because at the end of the day, it is your show. You decide how it go. Nobody can come and tell you how to rule your show. And you have your arrangement with who? The university. If the Prime Minister is Prime Minister and President Biden comes to Jamaica and him have a regional meeting with all the heads of government, or say the senior cabinet ministers, and did not have a meeting with him, how would he have felt?
I would feel bad, and I would also feel disrespected.
Disregarded and bluntly rude and crude. How is it then that you don't respect the sovereignty of the Maroons, as you claim? But the 6th of January 2019, you acknowledge it on your social media, the sovereignty of the Maroons. Then you met with the rest of the colonels of the Maroon town and did not meet with Chief Curry.
How is that Andrew's fault?
How is that Andrew's fault? Again, I just did tell you, undermining is what? A great form of deception.
With the Prime Minister.
No, and I am taking it up with him this morning. If it is that you have a government and the people have their government, how can you meet with Colonel Sterling and everybody else, Roger, and not meet with the chief? The conversation in the Maroon town, is a disparity between Andrew Michael Holness and Chief Richard Curry.
No.
The conversation. So who the conversation? Tell me now, because I'm going to fix your business. You love me, fix your business. Ricardo, talk your mind now.
How don't you think it was a colonel who undermined their own leadership by choosing to accept a meeting with the Prime Minister?
That's part of the problem.
The Prime Minister is exercising his power here. The issue you have to take up is with the colonel and not the Prime Minister. If they had united and say, hey, we are not going to have this meeting without our team, they would debate.
You know what caused this? You know what caused this, Roger? You watch this series called Game of Thrones? The Prime Minister is a Machiavellian.
Yeah. So my take on it is, you see, I've grown in life, and I've realized that people's action don't determine mine. If you are a prime minister for all of Jamaica, you should behave like one. When you're having a meeting and you are excluding someone because that person may have had
a descending voice, that is out of order.
About you as a leader.
As a leader.
If you're inclusive in thought, whether people agree with you or disagree with you, you bring them to the table.
No, I think what the Prime Minister wanted is to question the support that Richard Curry claimed.
Because he's a Machiavellian. He's a Machiavellian like Peter Bunty.
The Maroons, since that meeting, have not spoken against Curry. They weekly went to a meeting.
We are putting the blame on the Prime Minister for not wanting.
Yeah, we know the Curry have problem. But we're going to say this to you, Roger.
Yeah.
We know the Curry have leadership crisis in a Maroon town. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. Because some of them never even signed to say them acknowledge him this time around and the sovereignty of him as the Maroon chief. But what are causing these problems? When I talk to Maroons, you know, you know what is a major problem in Maroon town? The money in the bank. Money, them says root of all evil. I don't know if there's any truth. And because Curry has decided that the money must be spent on the people of Maroon town and not given to colonels for their selfish and some of the demise, is what I've heard. I don't know, Roger, if there's any truth to it. I say I don't know. Is what people call Roger. You know, a lot of people call me, and Maroons, the Scottish Maroons, have called me, and they have told me that it's money war in a Maroon town. But money war. And Curry, wait, let me finish this. Curry spoke about embezzlement some months ago in Maroon town, where there's an embezzler from Europe who is hiding monies in the Maroon town. The Prime Minister, I am told, want to do mining in the cockpit country. The Maroons have a thing where them, anytime them know so them can't get money, they will sell you out. Curry want to fix the sellout business there, Roger. Curry want to fix out the sellout business there. So if Curry want to fix it, who is the Prime Minister to meet? Who is the Prime Minister, Roger, to meet?
My problem with the discourse, Andre.
It's him not right. Him not right, Ricardo.
Idolize Curry so much, and our hatred of Andrew is so high that we don't fail to criticize Curry. I
just don't like him mean ways, Roger.
I don't have a problem.
Roger, I just don't like him mean skullduggery ways.
I don't have a problem with what the Prime Minister did. What this is showing is that Curry himself is not this galvanizing leader as he claims
like
to
the
be,
Prime Minister,
or the people claim to be. Because at the end of the day,
this issue isn't about Curry, though.
No, it is. And the disunity in the Maroon. If those other colonels had united and say, we are not going to have this meeting without Curry, you know, the Prime Minister after then had the meeting.
He would just not have the meeting with them.
No, he would have, because
he just would have the meeting with them.
A discussion about the Maroon sovereignty right now is needed, and I think the Prime Minister had to capitulate and had a meeting.
He was just being a manipulator like he is.
Politics is about power. The Prime Minister was exercising his power, and I really don't have a problem.
There's no other Prime Minister in Jamaica, Roger, who has ever clashed with the Maroons except Andrew Holness. Speak about that.
But we
have never had. We are not going to ask you this. Have we for the two?
Curry,
have no. You can't say Richard Curry.
No.
Why? Why is he more aggressive?
I think you're being very
because
unfair.
I'm going to ask you this, Roger.
I think you're being very unfair.
Roger.
One, the
Ricardo, you always come.
Very charitable to the Maroon.
Charitable O.
No.
Charitable O.
He was asked in the press conference. The Prime Minister has always been, we respect the Maroon sovereignty, all of that stuff. He's a brazenness
you
of
respect
Richard
the Maroon
Curry.
sovereignty, yet still you're moving, inching more and more to their territory.
We have to list this in chronological order. It's a brazenness of Richard Curry. His inability.
I think his brazenness is coming from the strong arm tactic that the Prime Minister is using to gain access to the
that there are illegal gun in the Maroon. The Jamaica government have the right to investigate that.
So why them not investigate the holy pack guns in a Tivoli, in a Rima, in a jungle? Why them not investigate? I'm going to ask you this question. Roger, I'm going to ask you this question.
Agreed. We investigate
all illegal guns. But I'm going to say this to you. And now Maroon have gone and celebrate them thing a year time. At 284.
No,
at
this is very
let me
bad,
no.
Andre.
At 280.
They confronted the JDF Jamaican officer with rifles. You don't think that is bad?
Is a state by itself, and them have them sovereignty, them have them own government, them have them own security forces.
They're
so
not
it's a state
by themselves.
Who says
Even
so?
Curry admit that they're part of Jamaica.
Yeah, but even being a part of Jamaica, why is it called the United States of America? Because you have the native what? Indians. So the Maroons are the native people. The Maroons are native people.
But
the Indians are native people. The 12 tribes of Benjamin, and I'm going to say this. Andrew Holness is a Machiavellian who is disrespectful. No. And he would not have felt good if the chief of staff, the vice president, or the president of the US did call in Babsy Grange, Kamina Johnson, Nigel Clark, and Ed Bartlett to a meeting, and he's asked to be excused.
On this too, we find the opposition weak.
Weak. So, Mark Golding need to go on. Since me I tell Mark, since me say.
What is the opposition's view on this?
The opposite is there a Queen's opposition? Mark Golding is a piece of I can't even say what he is this morning on radio.
Because as usual,
let me take time.
Respect to our leader.
But I go and say Mark Golding, you know them did say we have used scandal bag. Mark Golding coming like one used scandal bag, rub out him need to go that show in a sea.
We will absolutely say nothing of that nature about the Prime Minister or the leader of the opposition.
You can't go on there.
Studio, we'll be right back with you. When we come back, counterpoint, the fight, the peace, the in-between continues here.
No, sir, a banger rang in a studio this morning. But I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask one question. What's the population of Haiti? I think it's about 11 million.
I can't give it.
Yeah, but
I know it's between probably 8.
But my point is, I don't think Haitian crime rate, death rate, past 900 per year.
What?
Go investigate it. Somebody pointed it out to me over the weekend that
majority of Haiti's issues are probably natural disasters.
Natural disasters. But even so, they're
being concerned about the amount of guns in Jamaica that is coming from.
So, and I'm saying to you, where the Asian them that's where we take it up. And my point is, Roger, there's no evidence to purport that where there's less crime, higher income housing, there is going to be less crime. Take, for instance, Portmore. Waterford is a developed community. Professionals. Can I, Ricardo, just give me a chance. Just give me a chance, please. Waterford, Gregory Park, these are areas that are built through Matalan. So they are built structures, so it's not zinc house and whatever. So based on the laws of probability, or the general rules, because you have proper housing structure, you have more people going to work, it simply means that you should be seeing less crime. However, Waterford and Gregory Park and Newlands have some of the greatest crimes in the Portmore area. So how is it then that people with, I'm going to say to you, many of whom work as barbers, as water commissioner people, as technicians, do so also have a next job at night time?
Because I think the problem you're running into, Andre, is...
Me not running no problem.
Because the problem is, we are not saying that poverty causes crime. That's the argument you're making.
No, poverty I never made that argument.
That's what you're saying, because you're showing me a place where people have income or good houses and there's still crime there. We are saying that there's a correlative variability between crime and poverty. So once you're in poverty, you are more likely to become a criminal. It's a probability.
We're going to unemployment.
But Portland is a, I'm going to ask you, Portland is a poor parish, right? But Portland has one of the lowest crime rates in the country.
That's the point. Because you are making the argument.
I'm not making the argument.
No, that's what I am.
No, Ricardo, I am saying.
So, the word correlation means a mutual relationship or connection between two or more things.
Exactly.
So there is a connection.
There is a connection there.
Right. But the fact that you're saying it's the fact that there's a connection and a relationship, it points to the fact that possibly it's one of the causes.
No, it's something, because causality is something that is very difficult to determine. Normally in statistical matter, they don't use the word causality.
What do they use? Correlation.
The statistics talks to us. It says, reveals a link,
which is
correlation,
a
correlation between unemployment and crime, right?
So
you can't keep avoiding causes by just hiding behind this correlative discussion. Are we bold enough to say that there are clear indicators that point to crime? Because until we can pinpoint it and everything is a correlation, we're never going to deal with the issue at hand.
No, that is the thing. We need to analyze this correlation because, one, it helps us understand.
After 60 years and we still don't analyze anything?
Because I think one of the problems with crime in Jamaica, too, we don't take an academic approach to crime. Just
we
like
don't take a...
Yeah, because Andre would dismiss the statistics
Ricardo,
because it doesn't suit his narrative.
No, but me not say that. All right now, thank you. Somebody just pinned me the Haitian reality. Haiti's crime.
No man, you grew up at your research. I love that.
Yeah man, Haiti's crime rate.
You have research assistants online.
In 2018, Haiti's murder rate was 6.7% per 100,000 people.
Whoa.
Population is 11.5 million people. Jamaica murder rate is way higher, about 46% to every 100,000 people. That is a serious case. And Haiti has more guns. Haiti have more violent people according to them, and them work every voodoo and so. But we, who have less guns, it is alleged, have more crimes, more heinous crimes. And we see where people, a lot of these people get opportunities who are committing to crime. Because them get the government contracts them for the roads. And contracts from the politicians them. But them still a behead people. Them still a kill people. Them still a kill people. So what I'm going to say to Jamaica is, we need to understand Jamaica. That what we have in our situation and our country it is sad.
I hear always.
Roger, it is sad. It's very sad.
I hear always that correlation doesn't equal causation.
In the education system. So that's something that we need to fix. Our high school dropout rate is very low. Some schools have a graduation rate of 15 to 20%. And I'm sure that many of those students who doesn't finish high school, where do you think they go?
None of them can go to university. They have to go into the BPO sector.
Precisely. And I think those people,
and
crime
BPO,
and violence is more attractive to those kind of individuals.
And them alone, teacher commit crime. Teacher commit crime.
I am saying
police commit crime.
What is the probability that a person who drop out of high school at an early age is more like
But Dark Pa never drop out of high school early.
But Dark Pa doesn't prove the point here.
But I'm using the Dark Pa as a model.
Oh, is Dark Pa a model?
Because Dark Pa
would have been educated.
Dark Pa had the girlfriend of the president of the Senate. So he
just opted not to go to the formal route.
And what I'm saying to him, he could have get a job in the BPO. He never get a
job because of his connections
into government, and he never get nothing. He just wanted a life of crime.
It pays.
It pays him. And it is alleged that he did enough contract killing for many of the people who is connected to. It is alleged that the same system killed him because he knew too much about them. So I'm going to say, Dark Pa is a replica of many other Jamaicans who get contract killing from the same government officials, from the same private members of society, from the developed.
They are no longer alleging, You are saying that Dark Pa is.
No, I have always said alleged. I've always said them said Dark Pa get government contract. I don't know. There was a big argument. Let me tell you something. I am on the street, so I can tell you. One of the things that is alleged that killed Dark Pa was the contract for a road around Elliston, what name? Ellison Flats, where a contract was to be given by the Member of Parliament. And there was a big dispute with the Member of Parliament and him. And it was said that he called one of them and said he has an ear infection. And the same ear infection on his way, no gun in the car, he legitimately was going to sort out himself and his illness. He was killed and framed by the same system. Something is wrong with that. Allegations, but something is wrong with that. And many of whom have given the contracts. Many of these politicians give them the contract and then send police kill them.
We don't know if politicians doing any such thing. We have no names.
I never call no name.
Andre may have seen it in a vision.
I might get my vision then because in a Habakkuk 2 verse 2, write the visions and make them plain. And me tell you something. Me tell you something. You not trust it, but me tell you say Kevin Smith a come. You remember the man in Raja, me wake up and tell him say wake up because the 13th of October, something deadly that got happening in the country. It did happen. So you might not believe in my vision because you might scare of my vision. But the truth is, Roger, a lot of what is happening in Jamaica is a model where they use the people at the white collar criminals use the people who are impoverished, who don't have access to monies, fill them with cars and make them go live the life and braff and floss. And when they think they become uncontrollable, what do they do to them? They use the same government, the same police force, shoot them down, and then talk about we need to employ zones of special operation. Down at Central Kingston, where the little 10-year-old died. We must talk about that. Many of whom are there have been engulfed by the same system of government who gives them the contracts, who give them the road contracts. We must talk about that.
The interesting perspective is they will always say, Ricardo, that the unemployed people are the ones who are involved in crime.
Who killed the man in a...
But what if,
no, I don't think that is argument, Mr.
Hold
Bent.
on.
I don't
but
think
what
so.
if I see crime as a means of employment?
I'm going to ask you this.
I think the argument, is unemployment is a reason why people enter into crime. I think that is the argument. It's not that unemployment.
And that is why Edward Seaga said it. Edward Seaga said it. He never gave Dodos one contract. He never gave Dodos one contract. He gave what? Opportunities for the young people. The Tivoli marching band. He gave them what? The dance troupe. And I am going to say, any politician that legitimizes a Don and give him contracts, give him guns, and then turn around, kill the Don, is a wicked excuse, and Father God, I go sit up on the heavenly throne, and I go strike them with brimstone and fire. Brimstone and fire!